Hi, everyone. Welcome to the last session for Friday with Jireh Hills Homestead. I'm very excited to share their farm and forest school program. It is absolutely incredible. So be sure to stick to the end because we have demonstrations and more from the amazing John, Mark, and Cheryl. Thank you guys so much for coming and presenting today.
All right. Thank you, Jeanette.
Thank you.
We're excited to be here. So you're the tech guy, right, Mark?
Well, I'm going to try. So we'll do our best here, but you'll have to be patient with us, perhaps.
Well, my name is Cheryl.
My name is John Mark Charlton.
And we're here to present to you what has, I guess, slowly evolved over the course of the last year, our farm and forest school program on our farm. So we're going to screen share to show a little bit of a presentation that you can all follow along. And we're going to do our best. Ooh, that was quick. Good. I guess I got to be the clicker. All right. So let's get started. The Farm and Forest School program at Jireh Hills Family Homestead started last year. So throughout this presentation, I'll just kind of give you an overview of what we're going to talk about in the presentation. We're going to introduce ourselves and talk a little bit about who we are, our vision and our mission, not only as a family, but in running our farm and forest school program. What are some of the things that we do with our farm and forest school and the units of study that we plan to cover, our amazing team that we have, and then some information about how you can get involved and register in the program. All right, so we'll start with a welcome from Mama Bear and Papa Bear. That's what the Farm and Forest School kids like to call us. But yeah,
we're not even grandparents yet.
We're not, so I'm not sure how that happened. But we like to tell the kids when we first meet them that Mama Bear's job is to keep her children safe. And when they're on a farm and in a forest, there can be dangers associated with that. So I try to come across as the protector and someone who they can come to and talk to if they need help or they have questions. And why do they call you Papa Bear?
Well, I'm just kind of the safety fella. I used to be a firefighter in London, so I have a bit of backdrop in that and construction experience. So Mama Bear utilizes me at times for the construction aspect. But it really has become a natural means for us to begin to share our experience with children in that way because of our agritourism business that we've started 3 years ago as well.
Right. So just to give you a little history about ourselves, we are first generation farmers. So 13 years ago, we came to our property, which is a 50-acre homestead, and we started our journey. Our goal was to move out of our urban dwelling and spread out a little bit. We wanted to learn how to grow our own food. We wanted to learn how to provide for our family in a different way and learn some of those traditional hands-on skills that have really been lost over the course of at least my generation. And we're seeing that in the future generations as well. So let's get to the good stuff, right? Okay, so who we are a homeschooling family for, I guess it would be about 18 plus years now that we've been homeschooling. We have 8 children, ages 6 years old, almost 7, all the way up to 22 years old. I'll start with myself. I was a former secondary school teacher with the public school board. I suppose I was a science phys ed teacher, biology, and I taught for about 5 years in the system. And it was during that time that we started our family. And our first 2 boys arrived. And not only was I not just feeling like that's where I belonged, but I felt truly in my heart that I belonged at home, that I needed to be with the boys that we'd been blessed with and invest all the energy that I was putting into the teaching system into raising a family.
So me being the husband and more concerned about the finances, I was quite discouraged that Cheryl was no longer going to be bringing in that extra income. So the agreement we came to as a married couple was that Cheryl was going to let me build houses. So over the course of my 28-year career with the London Fire Department, my second job was building homes. And so we would build one home, move into it, brush our teeth in the bathtub for a little while until I got the kitchen in, and so on. And that repeated itself many times over the years, which in turn was a blessing when we arrived at the 50-acre farm, because we were able to do all of our own building.
So it was in 2011 that we took the big, well, one of many, but this was probably the biggest leap of faith, and moved to our 50-acre farm. And it was very exciting to us. And of course, like anything, we jump in with both feet and we have no idea what we're doing. So we brought home 2 milking goats literally the day that we arrived. And we, of course, had no idea how to milk them or what to do. And we just had to figure it out. So over the course, I'll just fast forward now, through the course of the time that we've been here, we've had a few more children along the way. So some of our children actually have been raised exclusively on the farm. And most recently, we ventured down the area of starting a home business on our farm, where our family is involved in an agritourism business. So we never really thought we'd get involved in tourism. We kind of moved out here to get away from everyone. And then here we were starting a business and inviting people to come to our property. So it was kind of an interesting twist, but it seems like that happens a lot in our life. And we suddenly were desiring to connect with people and share a lot of the things that we had been learning, because we found that we were experiencing just such fulfillment in getting back to our roots and learning. And of course, I think it was in our spirit to just teach and share. And that's what we wanted to do. And agritourism has allowed us that opportunity. So for the past 3 years, we have started a business on our homestead with agritourism. So that's allowed us some of the infrastructure, which ultimately has led to us offering a school program as well.
So many of our guests helped us kind of even consider doing a farm and forest school, because they, of course, would bring their children with them. And we saw what a blessing it was to their children. And then they began to ask questions like, well, you guys should run a farm and forest school. So we looked into it more, and we thought, you know what, we have been teaching all these years, and naturally you are good at that. And so it just kind of naturally fell together.
Very organic. I think that's the word. Here's our youngest, Myra. So I added this picture in here because, of course, this is where it all started, was with our dairy goats. Of course, Myra wasn't born then, but this is how we milk our goats. Myra does a great job. And we became real farmers about 4 years ago when we got our first cow. So wow, this is Blossom, and she's a sweet Jersey that we milk.
Blossom produces roughly 18 liters of milk a day, give or take. So there's a lot of milk coming in. It's a busy time, but it's produced a lot of wonderful foods for us, from yogurt to kefir and ice cream.
Yes. Okay, so let's talk about specifically now the Farm and Forest School program and our vision and our mission for that. So our goal and our vision in creating this forest school program is to provide a safe, family-centered learning environment. It's for all ages, and and to fill in what we see as a void in the education system. So being in the education system myself and being aware of what is being taught in different subjects and such, ultimately we wanted to provide a location where children could come and be exposed to truth and creation, and where they can literally see how that all plays out, not only in their life, but in the world around them. So you'll see over on the side, something that we value is trying to bring this local culture anyhow, but our culture has lost its way, and we seek to draw this younger generation back to our ancestral roots that were grounded in faith, a connection with creation, and a strong family connection that's built on responsibility, accountability, and most importantly, love. So maybe you can read our mission statement, Jamark.
we're here to provide a one-of-a-kind opportunity to learn and experience an earth-to-table perspective that will reconnect our children to the responsibilities, hard work, and skills that are necessary to grow food and build a sustainable and healthy future. One of the things we do notice in our farm and forest school, as well as with our guests that come, is there's a real willingness on the part of sometimes children are really more connected to their phones, their devices, their Instagrams, their social media. And when they come here, it's not a forced thing that their parents cause them to remove themselves from that. They do that naturally. And so the farm and forest school also resonates with children, and they kind of open up, and it's a real, we give a myriad of examples where this has occurred. But I think that is a real blessing that, as you mentioned about love, is that we're reconnecting people in relationships. And what is life without relationships? It's all about relationships.
That's a big vision. I know. So again, I put the family picture back on because really this is what it's all about. It's all about the future generations. And if we're going to do anything, I mean, this is what we have to keep in mind. So off of that topic, because Mama Bear is getting like all emotional and I'm not supposed to do that. The design of our farm and forest school. So we chose, at this point anyways, we finished a full year farm and forest school in 2023. So we did each season, and each season, of course, emphasizes different things on the farm. The farm runs every season 24/7, and animals and stuff is happening all the time. So we run our program seasonally. We chose at this point to run the program just one day a week. We're busy. We got a lot of stuff that we do. And so at this point, the program runs one day a week, generally for 4 hours. It's designed so that kids bring their own lunch, we eat together, and then we keep busy again. The space is mostly outdoors. We do, however, have the blessing of a heated indoor barn house, and that helps us if we're freezing cold in the middle of the winter or it's super hot and we just need a little break, we can go in there and work as well. We designed the program as a drop-off. However, we love it when parents, grandparents can stay and learn along with us. I might put you to work if you stay, but it's kind of fun, and we make sure that parents always feel welcome to stay with us. So this slide here is just showing the dynamic flow that happens in all of the seasons. We have baby goats being bottle fed there. This is the season right now for that. We have a couple winter shots there where we have piggies and all the special care that they require. We have the gardening season, and there's just always something going on in each season. And isn't that kind of like our own life? You know, the farm kind of reflects the seasons of life, even as a child goes through seasons of life, adults too. And how you have to manage those different seasons is always different. You prepare for one season, you have unexpected things that happen in another season, and how we manage that on the farm gives kids confidence to be able to handle those changes as they come naturally. So we have a few pictures here. Just, do you want to show, Jamar? I know you like the aerial shots, so.
Yeah, there's just there's the barn house. I don't know if, can you see my cursor on there at all when I'm moving that around? Okay, so there's our residence right there, and then there's the large barn house. There's 3 ponds. This is a throughway for there's a third pond right there, and it's Sydenham River gets fed through about 300 acres that we catch. So sometimes when it's heavy rains, this will flow like a river right through our backyard there. So there is lots of hills and valleys here. This is our orchard that we've planted, and it's running north to south for maximum sun from the east to west sun. And then we've got herb gardens, vegetable garden, and a fruit and vegetable garden as well. We have a little storage area for our wood. And then this is our acreage that we run all of our hay on there. And we produce our own hay. And so there's always, in those seasons as well, that's always a fun time. for people to be able to see how hay in production being cut and baled and so on. That's always fun. And the smell is beautiful. Here's our large barn here that we meet in, and a nice warm place, washroom facilities there, etc. But you can see all the trees and rolling hills. Back here in the back of the bush, there's 25 acres of Carolinian forest with a boardwalk across a marshy area with lots of frogs in it. And then trails all through the bush with winding hills and a ravine that runs through with a creek in it. So it's quite picturesque.
Well, that was a lot of details. I wasn't
Wow.
even expecting that.
There you
So,
go.
okay, very good. Thank you. And then, of course, 10 acres that we live on
Yes.
and that all the animals live on as well. So when we moved here, we had no idea what 50 acres was. So that's kind of significant to us. I thought you might be interested in seeing that. The barn house, as Jamark mentioned, this is the heated space, or in the summer, we don't air condition it, but it's naturally cool that we can use. Is there some pictures just of us hiking back to the woodlands? The ponds there where we have wetlands. I think we were drinking tea there. We did some herbal tea drinks last spring. We like to choose a variety of locations to just naturally have a lesson. So here we are, we're just sitting on the grass having a little chit chat, making some cheese. So sometimes it's a little more structured. You'll see the kids are in their seats, sitting so quietly and listening. And then the Carolinian forest, which is kind of a special place where we go. And yes, we spent a long time building that boardwalk to get across a big creek, and kids love it back there. There's a lot of wildlife, a lot of things to discover. And that's a great place to go as well. We have a little well, look at all the kids on there. All the kids playing on the playground, having a great time. And an area back there where we do lots of things for the forest school portion. The garden, I make everyone work in there, so that's not always so fun, but we learn a lot back in the garden as well. And so let's talk now about the different units that we cover. And this changes and ebbs and flows depending. I try to keep this dynamic because depending on what actually happens on a daily basis around the farm determines sometimes what we're doing. But this is kind of an outline of the units that we do. So my favorite topic, of course, is dairy goats. I could talk about them all day long because that's how this all started for me and what I fell in love with. So we like to teach the kids, of course, how to milk a goat, why we raise dairy goats, why goats milk, like who drinks that. It's a great learning experience. Kids really resonate with goats because they're so friendly and easy to handle and quirky and all that fun stuff. So we like to make sure everyone gets a chance to milk a goat and learn how to do that. That's so much fun. So, okay, I'll stop now because I could keep going about that unit. Someone had a surprise, actually. Oh. Hang on, wait a second. We had a little surprise because Mama Bear, when we start talking about goats, it's kind of hard for me to, who do we have? Oh, someone brought a little treat in from the barn. I wanted everyone to say hi to Ginger. This is one of our little Nigerian dwarf babies that was born. She's about a week old and her name's Ginger, we think. We haven't actually given her official name. She's so cute. You're quiet too. You must have known we were recording. What a cute girl. This is what makes this all worth it, isn't it? The baby goats, you want to show yours too, honey? We've got another one, so hang on. Are you going to save it for,
Do you want to stop share so we can get a close zoom in?
Oh, of course. Do you know how to do that, Jamar? Come on. Ooh, techie guy. Okay. Did it work? That's all right. Now you got to say, this is Tippy. Yeah. Tippy's a little buckling. Are you going to say anything? You're so quiet. That's not normal. He's also a little Nigerian dwarf goat. So they're just so teeny tiny.
How many were born?
We've had close to, we get around 25 goats throughout the year, but I see someone's watching there. Oh, it's so cute. Oh, now he's going to get lively. Okay, he's going to get lively. Okay, so can you go back to screen share? Yeah. We could keep doing that, of course, but we better keep going here, hey? Okay. All right, back to our screen share. See if you can figure it out.
I'm surprised you didn't want to see the puppy there, Cheryl.
Okay. Let's just get you back on the right screen. Okay, there we go. All right. Another unit that we do, of course, is dirt. If you're going to grow something, you're only going to grow healthy food if you've got healthy soil. So do you want to talk quickly about the vermicompost?
Yes, we have under construction, we have a vermicompost building. There's an interior part where we will be producing compost from vermicompost, which is basically worms, manure that is actually, like they say, gold for soil. So we're in the works of getting that produced. And then also we have a expedited decomposition system that is creates compost in an expedited fashion, usually within the 90 days. And it's aerated from the bottom. And so we're looking forward to getting that established and creating really lush soil for our crops and for our gardens.
Yeah, and the kids really like dirt. So last year, I remember we went out and we did some soil samples in different locations throughout the farm and taught the kids how to, shake it up and see how the soil layers naturally. And they get to see what soil really is, what the difference between soil and dirt is actually. So that's kind of a fun thing too.
And ultimately, you're pointing back to the fact that the soil it runs your farm. Without good soil.
That's right.
Yeah.
For sure. And of course, gardening, which I'm behind. So I like on my gardening, but that's getting started too. We get the kids doing that. Here's some pictures of some kids watching as we're milking, and actually Ruth Ann's doing the demonstration. We'll talk about that after, our team and how well our team works at teaching all of these lessons as well. And look at how well those goats are all lined up in single file. It's like as if we trained them to do that. We're not that good, actually. They just do that naturally. So, all right, there we are in the garden. We're actually catching a wild bunny there. That was really fun. We caught one because it kept eating Mama Bear's plants. So that was fun. The kids liked that we were 6 that we actually caught one. Okay, more units. We also raise alpacas. So of course, everyone loves alpacas. I've got some pictures to show you. I'm not bringing an alpaca in the house though. So you'll have to actually come here if you want to see an alpaca, but we raise them for fiber, for food. We don't raise them for food, but that's what they're raised for. And then for fun. So the kids like getting their hands on that fiber. We try to engage all the senses with all of the lessons. So with alpacas, feeling the alpaca fiber, we dye it with Kool-Aid and kind of show them how we use alpaca fiber. I'm going to pass it over to you, Jamark, with construction.
Working hands aspect of it, because of the backdrop in construction. It's been a great blessing to be able to help young people just see how we're always doing some sort of project on the farm, whether it's constructing fences, electric fences, regular fences, buildings. Sometimes we have an excavator we're using, felling trees that are dead in the bush to keep the bush and the forest safe for children. And so there's all sorts of ways in which the mechanical side of things comes into play, and children can get exposed to that in a safe manner.
Right. And then of course, we do like to talk about food, and making cheese is one of the things that we do a lot of around here. So kids love to see how that process works. And I'm actually excited to see how it works too, because I had no idea before coming to the farm what cheese, I didn't get it. So now I love demonstrating that. The kids love to see that. And I can't remember if that's what's next. So hold on. Oh, I wanted to show you the alpacas. So cute, feeding them. See, I knew it was coming. So cheese break. All right. So Papa Bear is going to shut off the screen. I have a treat to show you guys.
Cheryl's got all of her cheese making situations here. She's always making blocks of cheese. We're in the process right now of putting together our pepperettes. So we have venison that we've harvested from our bush. And so Cheryl, we use these blocks of cheese Cheryl's makes, and we cut the pieces up small. And so when we make our pepperettes and put them in the smoker from venison, we have the small bits of cheese in it, and it's really, really incredible. We've kind of got our own, that's another whole aspect of what the kids get exposed to, as well as during hunting season. They get to see, we've tanned a hide this time for the first year this time. And yeah, so.
All right, so this morning, not to cut you off, but
No, that's
it's time
okay.
for the cheese demonstration. So this morning, the milk that came in this morning from Blossom, we had to turn into cheese. I do this almost every day. So cheese making is something, I got to do something with the milk. So what I have here is the milk that came in from this morning. So about 12 liters of milk that we added our culture, we added our rennet, and we now are ready to salt our cheese and put it into what we call the cheese press. So I'm just going to show you that quickly. So you missed some of the other parts already, but we're going to add the salt, so about 2 tablespoons of salt.
If anybody likes poutine, we have a lot of cheese curds at this household. So yeah, the kids seem to get a lot of fun out of that.
Okay.
And we enjoy it.
I should have used my see-through. Can you gonna zoom in on it? This is the
Yeah.
cheese curd that is still nice and warm. It's never, this milk has never been refrigerated. When we make cheese, we actually make it at body temperature. So 30 degrees Celsius, when the milk comes in, it's the perfect temperature to make cheese because bacteria has to, you know, grow in that warm temperature. So I'm just making sure that all of the salt is spread throughout the cheese curd. And then it's going to head into the press. All right, so if you can turn that just to see the press, Mark.
Mhm.
So I've got a piece of cheesecloth here. This is a press that's going to press out even more of the whey. I'm skipping lots of steps here, but I just wanted to give you guys an idea of what the process kind of looks like. So I'm going to take all these curds now and place them. Okay, I know it's tricky. I'm really challenging your skills, the camera work, Mark. But all these curds are going to go into the press. This is going to make what's called a farmhouse cheddar. So if you guys like cheddar cheese, I know my guys love it. This will make a cheddar cheese, but right now it's pretty wet. And in order to have dry cheese, the way we dry it is we press it, and that presses out the whey that's in the whey. That's my joke. You got to get the whey out of the whey, and that will leave us with cheese. And of course, cheese is made up of the fat and the sugars, right? That's what makes it taste so good. Like, who doesn't like cheese? Okay, so there we go. There's all of our curds are in here. We're just going to wrap it all up, and we add what's called the follower. This is a pretty simple to use press. Of course, there's really fancy ones, but we're just going to attach this cheese topper on. You can actually see at the bottom, there's a lot of whey coming out, even as I'm just pressing it by hand. This is there we go. Buried my washers in there.
You're fast at this, Mama Bear.
I'm doing my best to go extra fast, just because I'm under pressure being on camera. I don't usually do this. Usually I just...
No pressure. Amazing.
Okay, and then as you see, I'm twisting now and adding a bit of pressure, and more whey is squeezing out. I don't want to put too much on there because there we go. And that's going to now sit on the countertop for probably 1, maybe 2 days. I'll keep, every time I walk by, I come along and I just crank it a little bit more, add a little more pressure. And then this time, like I said, about 2 days, when we come back and we take out the cheese, this is what it will look like. So this is what we call a cheese wheel. So this is cheddar from the other day. So this is 1 whole milking from Blossom, from 1 morning milking. This is how much cheese you get. So for our family, we eat this all like at once, but it's about 400 grams of cheese. And we call that a cheese wheel. So it's pretty neat to see the whole process. This has never been in the fridge, this milk. It's now like, I'd say 5-6 days old, but it's amazing how, you know, when God created milk and the cow and all of the things he put in there, he put everything in there that's required if we handle it, you know, sanitary like, and we take care of it, that actually becomes food. So I think it's really fascinating. I mean, I did add a culture to this because I wanted to have a certain tasting cheddar, but essentially the milk has the enzymes, it has the bacteria that you do, because, you know, some bacteria is good. And I think that's fascinating for kids to see that, the process of, because it's very relatable, because kids love cheese, they love food. Milk is our primary food, mammals, you know, from the time that we're born. So it's very relatable to everyone. And so I find that the cheese making is really fun. And kids all bring their crackers that day because, you know, they all want to eat cheese. So, so you can put it back to screen share.
Okay.
And I'm going to wipe my hands.
All right.
Okay. See where we're at. All right. So the other units, of course, like we talked about, we try to incorporate the woodlands as much as we can into our different units as well, because we have the blessing of having the farm and the forest, and kids, of course, love getting back there. I think one of their favorite things is building shelters. So we like to incorporate that lesson, not just shelters for humans, but shelters, all of the animals need shelter, and some animals in the wild create their own shelters. It's really fun to see that. We are a hunting family, so we like to share with them some of our hunting adventures. Actually, Ava has a few of those she's going to share shortly, so I'll leave that for her. And then the horse I couldn't put enough information up here about horse handling. All of our girls love horses, and that's a big part. I don't know what it is, but kids love horses and riding and all of the things that are involved in that. And if anything, we try to emphasize that horses teach us how to communicate. And it's really interesting to see how body language is so important with getting your horse or your pony to do what they're supposed to do. So that's been a learning experience, and the girls absolutely love teaching that. So as you're kind of hearing me talk about our daughters and how involved they are in the program, something that's really unique about our farm and forest school is that because our children have been raised on the farm, one of the goals we have is teaching them to be good leaders and be teachers themselves, because ultimately our goal in homeschooling is to teach lifelong learning. You never stop learning, and you should never have that attitude that, oh, I'm finally done school, I can stop learning, because as we've discovered, especially in the last 13 years, there's a lot we don't know. And so teaching them to be teachers is just by example, and then them, and I mean, the girls do an amazing job at that in their own unique ways, and the horses really give them an opportunity to do that as well. I think my last unit I have on there is making herbs. I have a keen interest in learning about herbs and medicinal herbs. We incorporate that with our soap making and such as well. That was a baby goat, if you heard that noise. Here's a picture of some of the kids this past, I think this was in the spring session when we were back in the woods, because I don't think the leaves are all on the trees yet, but it's a great environment back there in the woods to teach team building activities, playing games, and just working along together. That's our little farm map of the trails, but our forest map with the trails and the boardwalk. And
it's amazing how much that resonates with kids, just even learning to follow a map.
Yes, with a compass and just trying to navigate. And everyone always wants to find the deer stand. That's where we hunt from. So that's a really fun adventure to get back to the deer stand. And of course, I could put like a gazillion horse pictures on here, but I left it to little Trixie's on there. She's our little baby foal that we had born this past spring. Okay, and then lastly, I'll just kind of summarize quickly. We have a few units on raising little critters. We like to make it relatable for kids who maybe aren't on a farm, but they have an interest in raising an animal themselves. So the little critters like rabbits and, well, you can't have chickens anymore, but little animals that allows children to learn chores with taking care of little animals. We always try to get that in there. Raising the piggies is fun as well. And then allowing the kids an opportunity to brainstorm and apply what they've learned. Usually this happens at the end, but how would you build your dream homestead? And it's actually one of my favorite lessons, because I love seeing what the kids create and by drawing on paper and what they come up with and how inspired they have been from the class. It's pretty cool to see that.
And we emphasize too, that doesn't have to be on 50 acres. It can be on 1 acre. It can be in a backyard in a city. So.
Right, creating your own little ecosystem that we can call home. All right, girls, where did they all go? I think they all went hiding outside, because this was like the introduction time. I think Ava, you're up first. I really honestly don't know where she went.
Yeah, is Ava down there, guys?
Here she comes. So I wanted to show you in person our team and of course that's our family, but at least the girls. And I don't know if everyone's coming on, but we're going to introduce. So I'm going to switch you spots. So we'll play musical chairs here for a moment. So come on in, Eva, and have a seat. Not to put, and you want to sit here too, Lexi. I can do both of you at the same time.
Hello, everybody.
I have to scoot over, honey. Oh, all right. So we have two of the girls here. This is our oldest daughter, Ava, and Lexi.
Hi.
All right. So I'll start with you, Ava. If you just want to kind of introduce yourself, and you're supposed to look, if you can.
Look at you.
Oh, okay. That's fine.
All right. Hi, everybody. My name's Ava. I'm the oldest girl in our family. Some of my main responsibilities around here are caring for our dairy cow. So that involves milking her 2 times a day. And as well as I take care of a lot of the health problems with the animals because I enjoy the vet aspect of the farm. And if ever there's a problem or whatever, and I like to get involved with the birthing and working with any animals that need help or whatever.
Yes, I mean, so much of what we do around here, we couldn't do without Ava. So we always appreciate her input. She's always the one that's willing to give needles and, and do all the hard stuff. And so what are some of the things, Ava, that you do to participate in the farm and forest school aspect?
Okay, so this past year, I was able to help out whenever mom needed it with like the farm school or whatever. I really enjoyed showing the kids this past winter, one of the deer I got, I actually tanned his hide. So it was a 20-hour process. It took about 3 weeks. Like it was like a little bit each day almost. And so each week the kids would come, I would show them the next step. And then they finally got to see the end product. Do you want me to show it?
Yeah, for sure. And I think
She
Ava
actually
even
brought
brought
it
a
up.
prop.
Here's just part of it.
So if you guys
This
caught
is
that,
the-
this is the deer Ava hunted
Yeah,
herself.
here's some of the belly part.
Sorry, could we stop the share so we can get a close-up?
Yes, for sure. Our tech guy forgot what he was doing. Sorry. Yeah. Stop share. There we go. Okay.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay.
So here's the hide I tanned. Here's the back side. So that's the leather side. So I used the deer's brains, rubbed it on here, and that's how you tan it. So I was able to show the kids pretty much all the different steps. Another thing I enjoy helping out with is when it comes to the horses. So I like to show some of the basic groundwork I've been working on with my horse and riding and safety around horses. So things like that.
Yeah, I think the kids have all learned that if Ava's around, it means we're doing something with the horses. So they all get excited because they're like, whoa, Ava's here. So that's great. Okay. All right. Well, thanks, Ava. We'll switch to Lexi. I'm just going to move this a little bit. Stay where you are, though. Okay. So Lexi, you want to do a quick introduction and tell us what are some of the things that you do around the farm just on a day-to-day basis?
So my name's Lexi. Some of my responsibilities on the farm are so the animals beyond the pond, so the ponies, and the kunekune pigs. So my job's to feed them twice a day, and then with helping out with farm school, I really like helping with the kunekunes as well. Then I like to help move them around and different locations when we bring them out to pasture.
Yeah, you were really good at getting all the kids involved, right? Like everyone had to help out.
Yeah, with the fence.
Moving the fences because pigs can be really hard to move because they don't really obey all the time. So
Yeah.
Lexi was really good at all the behind scenes and getting stuff organized and just figuring out all of that.
Yeah.
Sure.
And I also like helping with the horses as well. I have a pony I sometimes bring out to show how I lunge him, and I like leading kids around on them too. That's fun, and training them how to ride.
Great. Okay, well, thank you, Ava and Lexi. Okay, and then I think that Serene and Ruth Ann are going to come next. So come on over. This is, we're kind of going from the oldest to the youngest, but I wanted everyone to get an idea, you know, part of meeting the family. Okay, so Ruth Ann, can you introduce yourself and tell us what, I see you have a visitor, a friend. Can you give us an idea of what you do every day around the farm?
Sure. So my name is Ruth Ann, and my main duties on the farm are to milk the goats and feed them and give them water twice a day.
All right. And at farms, who do you have there with you?
This is Shadow,
Oh, we did have puppies.
little
yes,
German
we-
Shepherd puppy.
Ah, she needs some training too. We're not keeping her, by the way, but yes. Okay. And Ruth Ann, during farm and forest school, what are some of the things that you enjoy doing in helping with that?
I enjoy helping with the little kids, so I like to help the moms out with them and just help them along if they have extra kids.
Okay. And something that you do a lot of is with the milking of the goats, you're highly involved in demonstrations and teaching the little kids how to do that kind of
Yeah.
thing, right?
I enjoy teaching them how to milk goats,
Yeah.
let them try.
those little hands do really well with little goats, don't they? Okay, and Serene, okay, you've got Ginger, so so what are some of your jobs? So you just introduce yourself, and what are some of the jobs that you do on the farm?
Well, my name is Serene, and some of my main responsibilities on the farm is to take care of some of the kunekune pigs. So I give them grain and hay every day, and I also feed our male billy goats and our male alpacas, and I feed my rabbits and our chickens, collecting the eggs and giving them fresh water and feed every day.
Serene has to be very quick, because if you know anything about billy goats, you really don't want them getting too close to you. So you have to be always like 10 steps ahead of them and going really fast for all of your jobs. So, all right. Well, thank you, girls. Okay. And then Victoria and Myra, I know they combed their hair because they really wanted to say hi as well. So come on over, girls, and say hello. Come on. And of course, I think these are future educators in our farm and forest school program right now. They just love the fact. So Victoria, do you want to say hello?
Hello, my name is Victoria, and my job around the farm is feeding our Flemish giant rabbits and doing little bunnies that they had and stuff like that. And I give them hay, grain, and water every day.
Ooh, good job. And yes, and we've had some baby bunnies born recently. So Victoria has her work cut out for her every day. And then Myra's our youngest. So Myra, what's your main job around the farm?
I feed 3 bunnies. The name is Blizzard and Spotty and Blackie.
Yeah, you do so well at it.
And they get hay, grain, and water.
Hay, grain, and water, right. And do you girls enjoy farm and forest school? Like when all the kids come?
Yes.
Yeah, it's kind of been a really fun experience for you guys too, right? You've met some really good friends through it. Okay, well, thanks, girls. All right, I think Dad and I will get back into our spots. Okay, I got to sit on this side because I'm kind of used to that. All right, let's see. Thanks, girls. I'm going to go back to screen share. Maybe you can do that for me so I don't mess it up. I think it's at the bottom there. This one, yeah. Okay, so I hope that was kind of helpful. I think, you know, we do this for our kids, and I think that it's just amazing how quickly that they learn and are able to share their love with other children as well and develop really good relationships with other kids. So I think it's great that kids can teach kids. And it doesn't matter what age you are, there's something special about kids seeing other kids working, like suddenly like, hey, how do you do that? And why are you doing that? And what, like you help your family. So it's actually, you know, more is caught than taught. You can teach your kids all the time, but if you can't demonstrate it and you can't show it to them, you know, it doesn't always resonate. So any opportunity that you can show your children this and expose them to it, personally, we found that to be so much more effective.
I agree. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. So at this point, I guess we'll just quickly run through how we have kind of set up the Farm and Forest School program. Right now, we have a special if you enroll early. So for our spring session, which is going to start April the 4th, early registration receives a 10% discount. So if you're interested in finding out more about that, you can do that. We try to help out families that are big families like us by having a discounted price for additional children, because a lot of the families that come, of course, have more than one child. Our class size at this point is limited to 12 students. So we're not a big program. And at this point, who knows, we're going to take that year by year, season by season. And we always welcome drop-ins. So not everyone can sign up for the whole 8 sessions. We like that because we find that's most effective, but we do allow for some drop-ins throughout the week. And parents are always free, of course. And then we also had an interest in the younger children. So I haven't maybe mentioned it, but for the most part, the program is designed for 5 and up. I kind of chose that age because, you know, generally there's no help needed in the washroom duties and such, and they can keep up with the rest of the group if we're doing a lot of really active activities. But we are running also a Little Tots Farm School, and that's for the ones that are under 5, and we've made that as a parent-child connection. So it's designed a little bit differently. It's a shorter day. It's only 2 hours, but it still runs at the same time. We chose Wednesdays instead. So that runs every Wednesday, starting in the spring as well. And the same kind of thing applies for early registration. I'm not going to read the testimonials, and I would have loved to have other moms on here chit-chatting, and dads. We've had lots of dads come through too, giving some of their feedback on the program. But I think, to say it modestly, everyone has really enjoyed and given us really positive feedback all along the way. And that's just encouraged us to keep going, right? And keep trying and seeing where this leads us. So here's a special announcement. I announced on our Instagram and such that we had a special announcement. Woohoo! We're going to run an open house. So this is going to be an in-person. Come visit the farm in person. It's a free day. I'm going to have registration on our website. So you do have to register just so that I know who's coming, and kind of pick time slots. It'll be about a 2-hour visit with lots of walking around and kind of seeing the layout of everything. Because I know personally as a mom, if I were going to sign my kids up to something, I want to make sure I know exactly where they're going and what it all looks like and get a feel for it. So we wanted to offer that open house. That's going to be on Thursday, March the 21st. That's not too far from now. And we did that last year as well. So it allowed anyone, maybe they weren't signing up for the spring session, but maybe summer looked good. So they were able to sign up for the summer session. So you can spread the word about that as well. If you're wanting to get connected more with us, of course, we have our website. This is our address. So we're out southwest of London. We're in the middle of nowhere, so you will have a hard time finding us, but we're centralized in that we're a 45-minute radius from some pretty major cities like Sarnia, London, Chatham, Grand Bend, St. Thomas. So that's kind of our driving distance. So the 45-minute drive, I know that can be a lot. Carpooling is always encouraged, of course, and we've had parents that do that and bring a whole bunch of kids all at once. So we can help with that if you're interested in coming from different directions. And just a big thank you. And if you haven't found us, we are on Instagram and Facebook. We use both of those platforms to give, daily, not daily. Sometimes I feel like it's daily, but regular updates of all the different things that are happening. So we try to use that to connect with people a little bit as well. So I think that was the end, Mark, if you wanted to add anything else, or if anyone, I guess at this point, had any questions that they wanted to ask or anything, that would be now the time to do it.
I think everyone's just so in love with your vision. I've spoken to so many people, and the common response is, wow, you seem like both of you have been doing this far longer than you have. It's so organic and incredible, and your kids you guys are going to grow substantially. It's what people need, and like you said, it has been watered down over generations. And I guess our generation, the internet was born, so we have a little bit of old roots, not as strong as like our parents, but my parents, coming from a small place, we had those stories of like chasing the pig, all those funny adventures that I'm sure you guys have as a family, and making that a part of a kid's future and education. Cheryl, you're gonna make me cry. It's very promising to even see your girls. Thank you for bringing them, because the future, you're always concerned for your kids, and when you see them growing in such a positive light, it gives us renewed strength and optimism. So I will definitely share with everyone, and I encourage everybody to share their open house and to share these incredible programs, and so that they continue to grow. And we give even kids in inner cities opportunities to more urban environments, opportunities to connect with nature, so we can get our humanity.
For sure. And it's been a little bit difficult, obviously this being as it's on a weekday. I didn't actually mention this, I forgot, but a lot of the kids that do enroll are either homeschooled or they're already doing alternative education. However, last year we did have a couple of students who were in a public system, and they didn't actually have to ask permission or anything, although I offered to help if they needed a word to the principal or anything, but they were able to come. And it's, they're really only missing 8 days, and it's not like they were missing. In a sense, we were augmenting their education, and it was that way they could just sign up for one season and still be enrolled in their regular school program and because we're running this is March break next week. So I actually posted just a 1-day farm school day, and I filled up within like a couple hours because the kids are off and they want something to do, but those are the kids that we can't typically reach all the time. So it's nice that, we take advantage of holidays and such like that to bring the other kids here.
And I think making it, I know there's a lot of discussions about a 4-day school week for children. There's a lot of discussions in the air about changing the structure. But like you said, it's you're actually gaining more than you're losing when you opt out for a day and do something more alternative that your children might not be exposed to on a regular basis. So to the parents listening, please be sure to even just send an email if they don't have a program that kind of fits your schedule, or any school for that matter. Connect with them, express your desires, and see where, it'll give them opportunities to grow maybe in ways that they hadn't considered before. So thank you so much.
Thank you for the opportunity.
Yes.
All right, so let's chat again soon, and this will be up on YouTube with all your information. So all the links will be shared shortly. Thanks again.
Thank
Yeah,
you.
thanks so much.
Take care.
How are we for time? Okay.